appreciate it, because when you take care of something good, that good thing takes care of you too. Okay. No debate on that quote, but look who's here. Coach Herm Edwards and Bart Scott joining Keyshawn and myself. Hi, gentlemen.
Hello, Molly. Don't press send, but that's another subject.
All right. You know what? Since you started with the don't press send, you start, Coach. Could Lamar and the Ravens be heading for a split?
It sounds that way. I think it's still salvageable, but I think the situation is kind of soured some. It's a little bit of a stormy romance when you think about both parties, kind of where it's headed. I wish Lamar, in his thinking, if I was the head coach there, obviously, going into the weekend of the playoffs, I would have asked him to travel with the football team. He is the leader of this team, and I get it. Well, he didn't need to go. He wasn't going to play. It's cold outside. I get all that. But I think going forward for him, just business-wise, he has been the leader. He's been the MVP of the league. They built this whole football team around him. The players in that locker room worship him. He is the guy. And to not go to the game, I thought, will it hurt him? Nah, but it's just a bad look. It's just a bad look because he is the quarterback and he is the leader of this football team. And that's the advice I would have given Lamar if I was there. And I don't know if Coach told him that or not, or visited with him, and maybe he did not. He's a grown man. He's going to do what he wants to do. I hope they fix this thing. But on the other side of it, understand this, it's a business. And the business tells you this. He's missed games at the end of the year now, 2 years in a row. And I know he wants this money. He deserves whatever he wants. But it's business. And when you miss, now 6, 7 games this year, last year it was 5, that's not good. That becomes a problem.
Yeah, see, this is where the issue of not having an agent comes into picture, into focus, right? Because usually it's your agent that's making a passive-aggressive statement. But when you represent yourself, now he has to defend himself because people were thinking, because John Harbaugh never came out and said, hey, Lamar's not playing because he's injured. He kept saying, hey, we don't know, I'm done talking about it, so it left it open for interpretation. So this is Lamar protecting himself. That's usually something that an agent would do. Here's the reality of it. You need Lamar Jackson if you want to have any chance of winning a Super Bowl because of what you have to go through in the AFC. It's no way that Eric DeCoste can let this relationship sour. This is a team and an organization that took a chance on Lamar Jackson. I feel like he has a sense of loyalty. That loyalty runs out because nobody's out here defending the fact that Lamar Jackson has been injured 2 years in a row. Yes, it's because he's had to carry this team and put too much on his plate. He's been asked to do what no other quarterback is asked to do. Patrick Mahomes isn't asked to be the leading rusher and leading passer, facilitate the offense, protect the defense. He's had to do everything for this organization. And this is the reality. Lamar Jackson is now earned the right to be put up there with Ed Reed, Terrell Suggs. He's one of those guys, and they always took care of those guys. And I think they have to take care of Lamar Jackson as well. And I think it starts with making a legitimate trade for DeAndre Hopkins. And so often Lamar Jackson's out there by himself fighting left-handed. They have to get him more resources. So you talk about how do I take care of Lamar Jackson? You have to go out and you have to win with a great offensive personnel. And I understand the tradition of this organization is that this is one that's built on running the game. They won 2 Super Bowls without a guy that was an all-pro. But look at what the Pittsburgh Steelers did when they got Ben Roethlisberger. A team that is built on defense and running the football had to recognize they had a special man behind the center. They went out and got him Antonio Brown, Emmanuel Sanders, Santonio Holmes. They have to do the same thing for Lamar Jackson, or it's going to be like a supernova. It's going to be beautiful, but it's not going to last long because they keep putting him at risk.
There's a couple things they need to do. And you mentioned salvageable, Herm. It's easy. Pay the man his damn money. I understand he's missed, 12, 13 games over the last 2 years. There's plenty of players that have missed games in their careers and still got their money. You've got to pay him. You designed everything from an offensive standpoint around him. And on top of that, when you look at the amount of money that's being shelled out post Deshaun Watson to the quarterbacks, Kyler Murray got $160+ million of guaranteed money. Russell Wilson, $160+ million of guaranteed money. And you offered this man $133 million of guaranteed money. He's been in the playoffs. He's won in the playoffs. He's been the MVP. You drafted him. You built the offense around him. And to what Bart is saying, you've yet to get him an established wide receiver. Not a draft guy, not a small, speedy guy, but an alpha dog, an A guy, a Michael Thomas, or a DeAndre Hopkins, or Julio Jones when he's young, A.J. Brown. If you look at the landscape across the National Football League, Herman, you know this as well as you, Bart. All these top quarterbacks, they got Pro Bowl wide receivers. And teams went out and acquired them. Jalen Hurts is Jalen Hurts partly because of his ability, but they went out and got A.J. Brown. Josh Allen is Josh Allen because of his ability. But guess what? They went out, Brandon Beane, the general manager of Buffalo, looked at his quarterback and said, for me to go to the next level, for him to go to the next level, I got to go get a guy. He went and traded for Stephon Diggs. The Arizona Cardinals, they went out and got DeAndre Hopkins for Kyler Murray. Okay? The Raiders just went out and got Devontae Adams for Carr, even though Carr ain't going to be there anymore. You got to upgrade the position for him to excel. So I'm not mad at him feeling a certain way in retweeting what somebody put out there or putting it out there on his social media that somebody else put out. He said, okay, I like this. I'm going to put it out there for people to see how I really feel. I have no problems with that. They got to get in line in the front office and figure out if he's for them long term, and if not, trade him to somebody that wants him.
I think both you guys make some great points. I do know this. It does us no good, or anyone any good, to negotiate your contract with the public in mind. That's not part of the deal. I think both these parties need to get together, sit down and talk. And you guys mentioned about getting him some receivers and all that.
Okay. So, I mean, you lost me at hunting dog, and then it never came back.
Jerry Jones' communication strategy is about vibes. Yeah. You don't have to actually say anything.
It's about volume. Yeah. That's what it is. It's about quantity of words.
Wait, we must acknowledge the geometric shape that Marcus has somehow managed to put himself into at our desk. Marcus, what did you take from that?
He's just the worst thing to happen for him.
He's
the worst thing to happen for him.
Why?
Why would you bring up championship teams? Yeah. Why would you even bring that up? Like, I get, Jerry is the greatest marketer in football, right? We understand, but this ain't the time for that. Why are you talking about a team with like 12 Hall of Famers on it? And you start seeing things come together. They beat Tampa, great. Tampa was terrible all year long, all right? Here you go into a week where you say, here's what I would like him to say. We need to lock in. We need to get these guys rest. We need to lock in on the San Francisco 49ers. We're going to go try to win one more game. But Jerry ain't going to say that. He going to say this. So Greeny can come on Get Up and talk about, he compared them to the 93 Super Bowl team.
Yes.
And he think they can be that good. And G, I know, I feel your energy. That's why I'm glad I'm in New York, because it's perfect for you. And I just hate the fact that now the pressure. Here comes the pressure. Just like we talked about last week with Mike McCarthy. Why Mike McCarthy's job was up for discussion? Because of Jerry Jones. Had nothing to do with Mike McCarthy and what he's proven. Now we're about to be talking about the 95 and the triplets and Troy and Emmett and Troy. And do you realize that team had Larry Allen on it?
Yeah.
That team had guys on that team went to the Hall of Fame. Like literally got gold jackets. These dudes just trying to figure out who their number 2 and 3 receiver was 3 weeks ago.
Here's what I love about Jerry Jones is that
I know you do.
He is just like me. He overreacts so much to everything that happens. He watched that game last night, and I watched that game last night, and both of us had the same thought. We're winning the Super Bowl. We are winning the Super Bowl this year. And he thought it, and I thought it. I picked San Francisco to win the Super Bowl when the playoffs began. I changed my mind in the second quarter last night. I'm with you, Jerry. I feel you.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, the reason why I slightly disagree with Marcus is they're used to it. This is how Jerry's always been. When Dak was born, Jerry was doing this. So like this
Well,
is not
you
going to.
played for him.
Yeah, this is not going to make anybody in that building.
No, Foxy.
It's not going to make anybody in that building uncomfortable. They'd be surprised if Jerry came out there and was like tempered in his remarks.
That would
They'd be
worry
like,
them.
oh,
Right?
are we about to get fired? They about to clean house?
What do you mean, Jerry said no comment? Now, that's scary.
Yeah, that's a lot scarier than him comparing him to
That's
an
a great
all-time great
point.
team. He just you know, Greeny, you talk about keeping that same energy.
Yeah.
Making me
Jerry,
feel better.
Jerry gonna keep that same
That's right.
energy.
That's correct.
Maybe I'm too civilized.
Yeah.
Me, of all people.
You are too
I'm
civilized.
My issue with it, from an analytical standpoint, that's not what this team is doing.
Yeah.
Right? This team is not building like they were horrendous last week.
Right.